Good morning. Today we are discussed a queue. A queue is a data structure in which insertion is done at the one end and the deletion is done from the other end. What is a queue? Queue is a data structure in which insertion is done at the one end and the deletion is done from the other end. This is known as a queue. Queue is a linear list of elements in which deletions of an element can take places only at one end, called the front, and the insertion can take place only at the other end is called the rear. Clear guys? See, Q is a linear list of elements in which deletion of an elements can take place only at one end, only at end, only at end. Q is a linear list of elements in which deletion of an elements can take place only at one end, called the front, and the insertion can take places only at the other end, called as the rear. Therefore, Q are also called as a FIFO. What is the FIFO? First in, first out. FIFO is the first in, first out. FIFO is the first in, first out. Okay, the terms of front and rear are used while describing queues in linked list. Queues in linked list. A queue has two ends. They are called front and rear end. Addition entities is done to the rear. Termination position and removal of entities is done from the front. Terminate positions. Okay, a queue has two ends. They are front and rear end. Addition entities is done to the rear terminal position and the removal of entities done from the front terminal positions. A queue is a data structure in which insertion is done at the end of the one end and the deletion is done from the other end. Queue is a linear list of elements in which deletions of an element can take places is only at the one end, called the front, and insertion can take places only at the other end, called the rear. Therefore, queues are also called FIFO. Okay, it is also known as a FIFO. What is the FIFO? First in, first out. Okay, first in, first out. The terms of front and rear are used while describing queues in linked list. A queue has two ends. They are front and rear end. Addition definition which done to the rear terminal position and removal of entities is done from the front terminal positions. Okay, you have a queue is a linear list. Queue is a linear list. It is a linear list. A queue is a data structure in which insertion is done at the one end and the deletion is done from the other end. Queue is a linear list of elements in which deletion of an elements can take places only what end and called the front, and the insertion can take places only at the other end is called the rear. Therefore, queues are also called as first in, first out. Okay, the terms of front and rear are used while describing a queue's linked list. A queue can has two ends. Generally, what the queue have two ends. They are what a front end and rear end. Addition entities is done to the rear terminal position and removal of entities done from the front positions. Terminal positions and front positions. These two is going on. Okay, what is the previous we can discuss the stack. Stack is the only initial insertion and deletion code to be done on only okay, initial insertion and deletion both are to be executed in a same. Okay, deletion is same and deletion the insertion is the same, and that is the main difference in queues and stack. Okay, queue is front and their deletion and insertion is both are same done. That is a stack. Okay, queue. What is a queue? Queue is in the data structure in which insertion is done at the end. and deletion is from the other end. Okay, this is the instruction, and this is the queues. This is the queues. Then go to the next one, then go to the operations and queues. What are the operations you have? Operation, then go to the operations and queues. Okay, what are the operations you have? A is a linear data structure. For example, you can study A is a linear data structure. It is controlled by two operations. What is the A is, you consider A is a single linear data structure. You consider some elements on that one. It is controlled by two operations. What are that two operations? Generally have two operations. One is the insertion and deletion. First one is the insertion operation, second one is the deletion operation. What is the insertion operation? Insertion operation, what is the doing? An insertion operation take places, an insertion operation take places from the rear end of the queue. It is what is the insertion operation take place from the rear end of the queue, and deletion operations take places from the front end of the queue. Okay, see guys, insertion operation take place from the rear end of the queue. What is the insertion take place from the rear end. Okay, operation take place from the rear end of the queue. It is the rear end of the queue. Okay, see guys, what is the insertion is the two operations. What is insertion and deletion? So insertion operation take place from the rear end, that is the front rear end, and the queue is queue, and the deletion operations take place from the front end of the queue. Okay, deletion of the front end of the queue. Okay, insertion operation adds an element to the queue. What is the insertion operation do? It is insertion operation is inserting that elements, that is insertion operation elements adds element to the queue. Okay, what is the insertion operation? It is a insertion operation doing it to add element to the queue. Okay, here insertion operation it is adding of elements. Insertion operation can do adding of elements. In case of you have two elements, you can add into another one element, then you are going to use the insertion operation adds an element to the queue. Okay, similarly, then what is the next one? The deletion operation remove an element from the queue. What is the deletion operation is performed. Okay, you have 5 elements is there, and that one you want to remove that one, that is the deletion operation, deletion. Okay, what is the deletion operation? Remove an element from the queue. Already you have 5 elements on the queue, and that one you can want to delete one element, then it is known as a deletion operation. Okay, there are two variables in that one. What is the queue operation? We have two variables. What is the first one? It is controlled by two operations. Okay, the operations on queue as two. First one is the insertion, second one is the deletion. Okay, first one is the insertion, second one is the deletion. Okay, first one is the insertion, second one is deletion. Similarly, there are two variables. Okay, insertion deletion operation by perform two variables. What are that one? Front and rear. What is the front? What is the rear? Now we can go to the what is the front and what is the rear. Okay, front. What is the front point to the beginning of the filled queue and take care of deletion operations. Okay, what is the front point to front? What is the front doing? Front point to the beginning of the filled queue. What is the front? Here front point to the beginning of the filled queue and take care of deletion operations. Okay, here see guys, this is the front operation, front point to the beginning of the filled queue. It is the beginning of the filled queue. You have 5 elements, that is 5. In that 5 elements, it is the beginning of the filled queue. Beginning of the filled queue, and take care of deletion operations. Okay, must take care of deletion operations on that one. Okay, front point to the beginning of the filled queue and take places and take care of deletion operations. On that one you have to take more care on deletion operations. what the next one? Front is the two variables, and that one front is a front already you discussed. Then go to the rate point. Rate point, what is the rate point to the end of the queue. Rate point is the end of the queue. So here in five element is the end of the queue. Okay, and take care of insertion operations. It is the what is the rate is the end of the queues. Okay, what is the front point to the beginning of the queue? The beginning of a filled queue. What is the front is the beginning of the filled queue, and the rear operation is the rear point to the end of the queue. So it is the beginning of the front is the beginning of the queue, and the rear is the end of the operations. Okay, and take care of insertion operations. Okay, these two are where there are two operations implemented by the queue. Okay, the fifth operation is implemented by using the two operations only. The two operations. Okay, once again, what is that? There are two variables. What is the front and rear? Front point to the beginning of the filled queue and take care of the operations. Okay, rear point to the end of the queue and take care of operations. Okay, there are two operations implemented of the queue. The two operations implemented by using the queue. Okay, these two operations implemented by using that queue. Okay, these two operations implemented by using that queue. Okay, these two operations is performed on that queue. Queue operations. Okay, front and rear operations. Front and rear operations. Front and rear operations. Okay, one is the front operations, second one is the rear operations. Okay, so second one is the rear operations. Rear operation. Then go to the third one. What is the third one? Third one is the Q is an array. Third one is the Q is an array. Okay, then go to the Q is an array. Okay, what is the Q? Array implementation of Q's uses. What is the Q is an array? Here array implementation of Q's uses. Okay, here uses of some queues. Okay, an array to store data. What is array? An array is a group of same data elements. Here clearly you can definitely know that. What is the array? Is a okay same data type. Okay, what is the implementation of queues uses? Okay, and an array to store data. Array is storing data. An integer type variable usually. An integer type variable usually called the front. An integer type variable usually called the front. Okay, which points to the beginning of the array. Which points to the beginning of the array, and an integer variable rear. Okay, which points to the beginning of the array. What is the here? Which points to the beginning of the array. Which is given the which points to the beginning of the array, and an integer variable rear. Okay, which points the end of the filled array. Okay, see guys, which points the beginning of array is an integer variable rear, which points the at the end of the filled array. Okay, what is the which wants to front front is an integer type variable usually called the front. Okay, which points to the beginning of the array, and an integer variable rear which points to the end of the very filled array. Okay, what is the front is there generally what is the beginning of the array filled. Okay, what is the rear is the at the ending of the filled by the array. Okay, q array ending of q. Okay, q. Okay, for example, you can go for a some simple. Initially the head means the what that elements you have. Okay, and then next slide you can give the some cues. Initially the head the front, that is the front, and the tail. Generally these are two is known as the front is known as a head, and ending element that is known as a tail. Okay, see, initially the head means that is a front, and the tail is the rear of the queue, points at the first index of the array. Okay, now first index of the array, starting the index array from 0. Okay, what initially the head point is head point that is a head point that is the front, and the tail is a rear points at the first index of the array starting the index of array from 0 0. As we add elements to as we add elements to the queue, okay, then you can go as we add elements to the queue, the tile keeps on moving ahead. The tile keeps on moving ahead, always pointing the positions, always pointing to the position where the next element will be inserted, inserted, while the head remains at the first index, as the index is the first index. Initially, as we had elements to the queue, the tile keeps on moving ahead, always pointing the position where the next element will be inserted, while the head remains at the first index. This is the sum. What the array queue is an array? But the array is implementation of queues. Okay. Array implementation of queue. So array is an stored data, and integer type variable is what called the front. Okay, which points to the beginning of the array, and the integer in the variable. Integer variable is the rare, which points to the end of the array. And initially head and the tail. These are head is known as a front, and the tail is known as a the rear of the queue. Points at the first index of the array, starting from the index of array from 0. As we had elements to the queue, the tail keeps on moving ahead, always pointing to the position where the next elements will be inserted, while the head remains at the first index. Okay, at the first index. Then go to the simple diagram. The simple diagram, you can go to the third slide. That is the then go to the third slide. Okay, you can see here different elements, and that one different elements. That is the first is the 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 in a square brackets. That numbers are known as index numbers. Okay, index numbers. Okay, here two cursors is there. That is a head and tail. What is the head? Head is the head is the front, and the tail is the rear. In the previous slide, you see head is the front, and tail is the tail is the rear of the queues. That one first index is the index means first box, that is index number is 0. That any elements to be inserted on that one first one, that is elements to be in a first index. Okay, rear and head are in same position. That index number is 0. Index number 0. Next one is the index number 1, index number 2, index number 3, index number 4, index number 5, index number 7, index number 6, index number, etc. These are some numbers. Okay, in case if you want to insert an element, that is the element, that is a 27 insert into first index. The 27 to be inserted in a queue, that is by using head, that is a front is the elements to be stored in a first box, that is a 27. Then what is the head element is the 27. Okay, then where the that tile means that a rare elements to be moved into next one. Okay, what is the index number? Index number 1 is to be going to 27. Okay, head and second index number is going to the third one. Okay, the third one. Okay, next elements to be posted into second one. Okay, and second one. Okay, then go to the what is the tile index number is 1. Okay, tile index number, you want to insert another element, that is in case of 19, that elements to be put into what is index number 1. All the previous one is index number 1 is 0 is first inserted into the queue. Index number 1 is inserted after that. Index number 3 is inserted into after 1. Index number 2 inserted after 1. Index number 3 inserted after 2. Index number 4 inserted to after after 3 etc. up to 7. If in case of index number 7 elements to be inserted after the 6 index number, fill it after the 6. Okay, then go to what is the next element to be inserted into 19. That is the already you have a first index number 0 is over, then go to the index number 19. Index number is 1. What is the index number 1? Index number was 1 is filled. What is the element? That element 19 element to be inserted in index number 1. After you want to insert another element, that is the 17. What is the index number 0 is completed, index number 1 is completed, then go to the index number 2. What is the index number 2? Index number 2 is the what that element 7 is inserted into index number 17. Index number 3, index number 2. Okay, then first element is the third is the 27, second element is the 19, third element is the 17. After then you can insert it into another element, that is the 7. What is the index number 0 is completed, index number 1 is completed, index number 2 is completed. Then what that number index number 3 is there. Okay, what is the index number 3? In what is index number 3 is the value 7. These 7 elements to be inserted into index number 3. Then go to the tile into, then go to the index number 4. this way you can insert it to number of elements. If you want to insert any value after 7, in case of any value of 7, you want to insert into 27, you want to insert into 26. Okay, index number, what is the index number is free, that is index number 4 is the empty, that is the rare, that tile, that is a tile. Index number is 4 is tile, then you can insert it element is a 26. Okay, after then you can index number 4 is filled. After that tile is moved to index number 5. Tile is moved to index number 5. Okay, after then you want to insert it into 29. Okay, in case of okay, in case of element is index number 5, the 5 in tile, 5 in tile. Now then you want to insert into an element. You want to insert into some element that elements to be inserted into 5. What is the 5? 26 is over. Okay, 26 is over. Then you have a 29. In case of index, tile move to the 6th position. That is the index number 6. The next position, index number 6. What is the index number 6? That value you can give the another the 20, another 16. Okay, you want to insert into a 16 element, that is the index number 6. After then you want to insert into another element, that is the index number 7, that is the last element, that is the tile element. Now last element is the tile. Okay, this way. Okay, in case of that one, okay, this way you can add an tile. Okay, these elements to be inserted into two parts way. What is the index? You want to insert into some element 0 is the one index, 0. These elements to be broken into two parts, that is the 1, that is the 1. What is the adding elements to the queue? Okay, removing elements from the queue. Okay, this way you can insert it into number of elements up to 7 elements, up to 7 or 8 elements. 7 index numbers, 7 index numbers means that is 8 elements. In case of this is a insertion of elements. This is insertion of elements. Okay, this is insertion of elements. In case of we want to delete an queue. Okay, in case of delete n queue, the delete of n queue, first what that we have, that queue can be the breakdown into two parts. So I can division that elements into two parts. So first one into what, this one 0 index number, 1 index number, 2 index number, 3 index number. Okay, 0 1 2 3. What is the first element? This is the another example. Okay, that's why the elements to be moved. Then that way this element removing of elements. Clear guys? Removing of elements. Okay, removing of elements. That's why you can go to the removing of elements. Okay, removing of elements. What that one? Next one, go to the next one. Removing of elements. What that one removing? We can go through. Okay, we can go to the removing of elements. After that you can discuss removing of element. Already inserted is over, then go to the removing of elements. Okay, what is the when we remove an element from a queue? Okay, here when we remove an element from queue, we can follow two 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 possible approaches. Okay, after if you want to remove some elements from the queue, you can go to possible approaches. Possible approaches mention. Okay, mention. Okay, mention bracket a, the square bracket a and square bracket b in the above diagram. In a, two diagrams is there. Okay, once again you see that diagram. Okay, previous one. Okay, two diagrams. So okay, a is the one, b is the one. Okay, a is the one, b is the one. Okay, in above diagram. Okay, previous one approach, we remove the elements at the head position and then one by one shift all the other elements in in forward positions. Okay, and all the positions in a approaches, we remove the elements in the head at the head positions and then one by one shift all the other elements in forward position. Okay, in approach B, we remove the elements from the head position and then move head to the next position this way. Okay, next position this way, head to the next position. Okay, in approaches A, there is an overhead of a shifting the elements one position forward every time we remove the first element. Okay, the head position move. See guys, what that operation is going on. See, okay, approaches in approach B, there is no such a overhead, but whenever we move head one position head after removing of first element, the size of q is reduced by one space each time. One space in each time, this way. Okay, one position is this time. See guys, see what is the 0 1 2 3. We have a index number 0 is there, index number 1 is there, 0 index number 2 is there, index number is 3. If you want to remove that 19, then what is the operation is in approach this there is an overhead shift the elements what is the position forward every time we remove the first element. See diagrams. Okay, 19 is removed, then go to the and then go 19 7 17. Okay, the remove into index number is removed. Okay, after that these elements is the 0 is removed. After the next position, what is that one? Okay, the 19 is moved, the head position is moved to next index number, that is 19 17 17. This way the remove operations to be performed. Okay, this way the remove operation to be performed. This way this remove operation to be performed. Once again, see, when we remove an element in the queue, we can follow two possible approaches mentioned diagram A and diagram B. Okay, what then approaches? We have removed the element at the head position and then one by one shift all the elements in the forward positions. What is the head position? One is the first element to be removed, then head position to move to the one after one up to forward element. Forward element in approaches A, there is an overhead of elements. Okay, overhead of elements. In here there is an overhead of shifting the elements are position forward at every time you remove the first element. In approaches B, there is no such overhead, but whenever we move we had one position after removing of the first element, the size of q is reduced by one space. Okay, one space. You can see that diagram, that see in the previous one. Okay, we have elements is the index number 1, index number 2, index number 3. Okay, on that cases we are removing that one, the header, that you are moving to the that index number 1 is removed, then go to the forward that head positions to right side up to up to have a going to this one going to this way. Okay, then you can go to the going to the okay going to this way. Okay, this way. Then go to the next one. What is the that is the insertion operation. Insertion operation is the okay insertion operation. Okay, what is the insertion operation? Once again, see that what is the previous one you can discuss it. Initially, when the queue is empty. Okay, what is the insertion operation is going on? Insertion operation. Now we have perform operations. Initially, when the queue is empty, front and rear can have any integer value other than any valued index number of the array. Let front is equal to -1 and rear is equal to -1. Initially, when the queue is empty, front and rear can have any integer values other than any valued index number of the array. That is the let front is equal to -1, rear is equal to -1. Initially you have a queue is in empty. Initially you have some values is there. Okay, initially when the queue is in empty, front and rear can have any integer value other than any valued index number of the array. That is a let front is equal to -1, rear is equal to -1. In case of that is the front is any time you have what is the front is equal to -1, rear is this is the initial value. The first element in the empty queue goes to the 0th position. Okay, first we have what is the doing first, the first element in the empty queue goes to the 0th position of the array, and both front and rear are initialized to value 0. In case of in queue you have inserted into first element, then the position is these two front and rear are goes to 0. The first element, see guys, this is a very important. First, what is the queue under queue it is empty, and that was positions of front and rear are from the front is equal to -1, and similarly rear is equal to -1. In case of first element the empty queue goes to the 0, inserted into any element. Okay, the first element in the empty queue goes to the 0th position of the array, and both front are initialized to values 0. Okay, in case of the first element inserted in that one, what is the front and rear position initialized with 0. After the every insertion operations, after every insertion operations, increase the rear by 1 and insert the new data at the particular position. Okay, after this every insertion operation increases the rear by 1 and insert a new data at the particular positions. Okay, this way you can insert it any new element to the queue. You can the rear is positions the decreased by rear increased by 1. Now okay, that position insert into a new data at the particular positions. An array are fixed in length. Okay, here the array is fixed in a length. Okay, array is fixed in a length. Okay, elements cannot be inserted beyond that maximum size of the array. Okay, here what is the array? An array is fixed in length. Elements cannot be inserted beyond the maximum size of the array. Here the elements to be maximum array size is that 10. After the maximum size of 10 elements, after then there is no chance to insert it into new element on that array. Okay, pushing data beyond the maximum size of the queue that is when the rear is equal to maximum size -1, result in data overflow. Okay, publishing the beyond of the maximum size, maximum of the queue is that is when the rear is equal to maximum size -1, result in the data is overflow. Resulting the data is overflow. In case of maximum size is 10, after the 10 elements is over, then there is no chance to moving into that okay that new elements. Then go to the another one, the explanation of insertion operations. You are going to see the what diagram, that is the insertion operations. What I have insertion operations here, MTQ. What are the MTQs? So 0 1 2 3. Here some elements. Okay, what is the front is equal to -1, and the q is equal to -1. MTQ is there is no element on that one. Okay, then go to the first element, then go to the first element 0 in front is equal to rear. Insert the element is 10. First you insert the element is 10. Front is equal to 0th position and rear is equal to 0th position. Then go to this diagram. Okay, then moves to the next elements. Insert into element 20. Then front is equal to 0 and rear is equal to moving to the 1. Front is equal to the 1. The front is equal to 0th position and rear is going to the 1th position. After then insert an element into 30. Okay, insert into an element into 30. After what are the doing? The element in the 30 is moving to the, okay, what is the front? Front is always you can in 0th position and rear position goes to the 2. What is the rear position going to the 2? Okay, then inserting the element into 40. What is the front? Front is in position 0 and front position is equal to 0 and rear position move to the 30 here. Okay, insert an element into 50 will be the result in overflow. Q is in full. In case on that one, what is that? How that? What is the Q? This Q is only maximum size is 4. What is the if you insert into element 50, there is no chance to insert means that is the position is full. Okay, after then here there is after then there is no elements. Insert into 50 will be result in the overflow. Q is full. This way the inserted elements to be filled. Okay, this way the inserted elements to be filled. Okay, this is the this is known as a Q full. Okay, this is known as a Q fill. Then we are going to the then we are going to the deletion operation. Then we are going to the deletion operations. What are the deletion operations? Deletion operation is doing here deletion operation. The deletion operation deletes the very first item, the very first item from the Q. Okay, what is the deletion? The deletion operation deletes the very first item from the Q. Okay, and that one, what is the Q operation? The delete operation delete the very first element, first element or first item from the Q. Okay, from the Q. Any attempt to delete any attempt to delete an element from the empty. Any attempt to delete an element from the empty. Q front plus rear is equal to -1. Here another condition is the front plus rear, front plus Q. What is the Q? Front plus rear is equal to -1, resulting in data overflow conditions. Okay, overflow condition. The front plus rear is equal to -1, that is the overflow conditions. Okay, here in the previous one that front is equal to maximum size -1 is equal to -1, then is a overflow. Here front plus rear is equal to -1, result in a data overflow condition. Okay, each time the delete operation is performed. The front variable is decremented by 1. And previously the elements to be inserted, then incremented by 1. Here in case the elements to be deleted, that they decremented by -1. This is a delete operation. Each time the delete operation is performed, the front variable is decremented by 1. When there is only one element in the Q. When there is only one element in the Q. Okay, deletion operations of that elements makes the Q empty, and both the front and rear will be assigned the value equal to -1. Assigned value is equal to -1 when there is only one element in the Q. When there is only one element in the Q. Okay, deletion operation of that elements makes the Q empty, and both front and rear will be assigned the value is equal to -1. Okay, these are main conditions. When there is only one element in the Q, deletion operations of that elements makes the Q empty, and both front and rear will be assigned that values. both assign that values. Assigning that values. So this is the deletion operations. The deletion operations deletes the very first item from the queue. Any attempts to delete an element from the empty queue, front plus rear is equal to -1, result in a data overflow condition. Okay, each time the delete operation is performed, the front variable is decremented by 1. When there is only one element in the queue, deletion in the operation of that element makes the queue is empty, and both front and rear will be assigned the value -1. This way the elements to be this way the elements to be decremented. That is the decremented, the elements to be removed from the queue. Okay, what is the here deletion operation is main queue, front plus rear is equal to -1. This is the one rule. And what is the uncertain value? Uncertain front uncertain value what the rear is equal to maximum size minus 1. This is the overflow, that is the elements overflow. When the rear is equal to maximum size -1 is the overflow. Here front plus rear is equal to -1 is the overflow. What is the here rear plus -1 is the overflow of that elements. Okay, then we are going to the deletion operation. For example of you can take that one an example on that one. Okay, one example. Okay, on that one what you have to okay for 40. Okay, 40. Here you can see that elements. Here a filled queue. Here you see already there are full queue. Filled queue means that filled queue. Queue is full. See that one, how many elements in index number 0, index number 1, index number 2, index number 3, up to 3 elements. Index number 3. Okay, that means the size is the queue is full. Front is equal to 0 and the rear is equal to 4. Maximum size is the front is equal to 0, rear is equal to the 3. What is the rear position? The rear position is the 40. Okay, rear position for the front is equal to 0. What is the front position is equal to 0. Okay, now you want to go to remove one element, delete an element from that one. That is first element. What is the remove an element in from? What is the first element? You are removing the first element in 10. Why? Front this is key in queue, the elements to be inserted is one end and deleted is the another end. Okay, the elements to be inserted is one end and deleted from another one. Okay, clear guys? Deletional element is the 10 is removed. What is the front is equal to? What is the front position? The front position move it to +1. That means 0 to you can go to the front to 1. Okay, what is the rear position? Rear position is 3. Similarly, rear position is 3. Okay, this is the first elements to be deleted. Then go to that, you can delete another element, that is a 20. Delete an element. Okay, delete an element. Okay, delete an element. Okay, delete an element is 20 is deleted. Okay, then go to the delete an element. Okay, what that one delete an element, then that means the rear position is 3 same. Okay, rear position is 3 same. Okay, and what is the front position? Front position move it to another one. That in previously first is 0, second you can go to the 1. Now your rear position is go to the front position is go to the 2. Okay, then front position is go to 2. Okay, then we delete into another element. That is what is the index numbers? 0 is there, 1, 2, 3. Okay, what is the rear and the front in same positions? Rear and front, these two elements to be in the same positions. Deletion and elements is the front is equal to 3 and the rear is equal to 3. You can remove into the 40. What is the then deletion element is the front is equal to -1, rear is equal to -q is empty. Here the fourth element is also deleted. Then what you are getting? The q is empty. The queue is empty. Okay, the queue is empty. Okay, deleting an element, front is equal to -1, rear is equal to -1, queue is empty. 0 1 2 3. Okay, that up to the elements to be in queue. And then you are going to the what is the then go to the okay, what is the queue is empty, and then we want to delete it, then elements will be result in data underflow. In case of you want to delete an elements, data it is underflow. What the where the condition if you want to delete, okay, front plus rate is equal to -1, that is data is underflow, and that is underflow. Okay, here in previous one, what is the rare is equal to maximum, the rare is equal to maximum -1, that is the overflow. Here front plus rare is equal to -1, that is the underflow. Okay, this way the deletion operation is to be performed. This way deletion operation is performed. This way deletion operation is performed. Here there is no chance, there is no chance to remove that. Here main important point is the front plus rare is equal to -1, that is the underflow. Okay, data flow, data overflow. Okay, that the underflow. In previous one, what is the rare is equal to maximum size is, that is the overflow. In case of okay, that is the in such an element, this is the deletion of element. These these two conditions is very important. These two conditions are